All right. Well, I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first order of business, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business tonight is to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Everybody have a chance to look at the council meetings for July 15th?
Yep. I'll make that motion to approve the minutes for 7/15/2025. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To approve the July 2025 claims list.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To accept the disbursement ledgers and financial statements of the various funds for July 31st, 2025.
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To approve accepting Ranier Rec Club donation of $5,500.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you.
So
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Mayor, right now, 1,500 of it is going to pay the engineering firm for the rink, conceptual plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yes. To approve the KCC TV contribution for $1,500 so we can keep Darcy here.
I'll make that motion.
No second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Municipal liquor stores monthly statement.
I'll make that motion to
I'll
accept.
second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I see the liquor stores back on track. Now we got Ranier Days really good, doing well. Great. To approve the WSN rink proposal for $1,500, they're going to apply for bonding or some kind of funding to remodel our Ranier rink.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, we have a request from the International Falls Ambulance Planning Committee from Mayor Gill to set up a meeting with the City of Ranier and the county to talk over the issues that the City of International Falls has with the ambulance district that they operate. I certainly believe we should meet with them. We've met in the past for no avail, but maybe they have new ideas, new thought processes. I don't know whether we want to just send a committee there or just several people or the whole committee. I guess.
I mean,
I would like to go on it.
If you have more than two, it's going to be a quorum, so.
Pardon me?
If you have more than two council members, it'll be a quorum, so then it would have to be posted as an open meeting. I mean, if you
Is
want
it
to-
an open meeting anyways, or is this just with
Two, that looks like two.
Mayor Gill?
And
Who's ever
one
on the
of
committee?
council member, yeah, so it doesn't look like they've already posted it as an open meeting.
Well, I'm also interested in being involved in that, but I realize we don't want to risk having to disrupt open meeting law. So if there are members on the council that feel a driven need to attend that, I can certainly be a backup. I have my own questions.
You can go.
Well, I know, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I've worked in healthcare for.
I definitely want to go to this. They when they were going to start these meetings.
I'm not sure, he just said.
I hope they give us a couple week notice or whatever.
Yeah, I think all we have to at this time, we will send two representatives to this meeting. We're glad to meet with them. Give us the dates. We'll see how they fit with. Obviously, you may have an issue. I may have an issue. Jen may have an issue.
Yeah.
Whoever. So That's fine. So,
Okay.
I think maybe entertain a motion to meet with the city to discuss the ambulance issue.
I would make a motion to do that, and do we need to
Who's going?
assign some council members? Jen and I would be willing to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to go also, so, but you say we can't have three?
Unless they're gonna post it as a public meeting.
But she was,
Why don't you post it then?
But she's not-
It's our meeting.
It's their meeting.
It's their meeting.
so she was just going
So we
to
should
figure
be
out
able
the
to-
days and then find
That's right.
which times may or may not work. Because
Right.
maybe you might
Maybe
be
I
out of
can't
town.
go, maybe you
I might
can't
be
go.
out of town.
That's exactly what I said.
Why don't we do that?
We will send two representatives to the meeting, and once we find out the dates.
Yeah, let's send two representatives and we'll figure it out, and the one that can't go, that wants to put two bids in, can talk to the other two before they go.
Right.
So we have a
We'll
motion.
make that motion then.
We have a
Second.
motion to attend and send two representatives to the meeting. We have a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, what's our next little item here? Our vacation procedures for the council, we have all them now, and we really want to review them and read through them, and so obviously basically almost once a year, we get some kind of request in that, and I was talking this over with Cheryl, you know, they'll come in and say, you did it for him, they did it for him, they did it for that, and give them comparables, of course, but rarely are two the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's usually some circumstance of why you do it or why you wouldn't do it.
Well, this is,
Future, I think so. We really want to look at them and try to set the groundwork for procedure, so that
no, I know we have that one pending or whatever on Main Street or whatever, and as I'm reading through that, it says that we have to have some of the county people involved and stuff. Has that even gone forward with them? And what is their response back?
No comments. Yeah.
Well, that's easy. No comment.
Well, then we'll just go about our merry way.
So what is everybody else's feelings on that petition that they have? to
Well,
open that
again,
up?
Mayor Wagner brought up like concerns about like if there are utility poles and access points. And they do cover some of that information here in that we got. So whatever is in the official description of the vacation, I'm imagining we have to make sure there's verbiage in there that would account for, again, I saw 2 poles down there. I don't know about any other access points. And it looked to me like it was already on private property, but I still would have to look at the plat.
That's what I'm saying, we have to move forward with really looking at what's going on down there so we don't, and I like that checklist we have to start looking
yeah,
at
that's
that.
what we have to do, is look at a checklist, but there's rarely going to be two the same. Same, just like a blanket vacation of this whole side of the street. Well, 2 of them have power poles, 2 don't. Okay, well, I didn't know.
I'm not sure if they're power poles. They're poles, and there's a light on one of them, and I couldn't tell for sure what they actually were.
But, well, that's the point I'm trying to make. You just can't make a blanket one because 2 things aren't the same. You know, all of a sudden now who's responsible to take care of it? You know, I didn't know that, you know, all this stuff. So we just have to be awful careful, and no matter what we do.
And I know we've said that before, that each one's individual, we gotta look
And
at it.
really individual, because each one can be a little bit different, and some want it, some don't. So. Okay.
If you guys can
So where do we go
study
from
that,
here?
and then, next meeting, bring back some comments to me. And
Yeah, read through them, any comments on it, let's
Yeah.
discuss them, try to set the procedure so that we got something to follow. And again, we'll have a procedure and we'll have a plan, but trust me, we may have to amend the plan a little bit, or there'll be a little variance in it.
Right.
We're not gonna be able to hit every nail here. There'll be some reason that you can or can't do it, so it'll still end up being our decision. But if we got, if most of the boxes are checked, it sure makes it a lot easier for us.
Right.
And understand the
I'm gonna
procedures.
bring that back for the next meeting.
Appreciate that. Okay, well, that just ends the meeting except for the open forum. I see some people here. Anybody got training? I see you here. You got something? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank
Is
you.
that about the water line now up at Crystal Beach?
No, very good. I thank you for having me. I appreciate what you're doing. After we met last time regarding the water situation there, and you suggest I talk with the county, and you were all obviously correct on who owns the property and the right-of-way and the water lines and that sort of thing. And anyway, I've had a chance to meet with Trent Nicholson, the county engineer, a couple of times, and I also was Destry Hell, who is our county commissioner for our area out there, was very helpful, and he called me last week, or whatever the week it was, previous week, and he said, see, just coincidentally, there is a engineering firm that's coming to the county commission meeting on the 12th, and they're from western Minnesota, and they are...
What's the name?
It's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Western Minnesota.
I'll get it for you. But anyway, it's a large firm from western Minnesota. They haven't done all of the planning and that sort of stuff for basically all of North Dakota. A tremendous project because they have bad water in North Dakota, and they've signed up the cities and the counties. They made a presentation saying that here's what we do. We go into cities and counties, and it was all laid out on what the process is to get, so to speak, city water to the remote areas. And what's the hookup and what's the price and all that sort of stuff. They went through all the things of the legalities of it, and of course the public meetings and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, they do, I think, want to say 4 counties in northwestern Minnesota that are cities and counties that they have engineered and have got their system working, let's put it that way.
AE2S?
I'm sorry?
AE2S? Well, whatever.
I'm sorry, I should have had the name. I've seen your moment, I neglected that. But anyway, just...
water up in North Dakota, so...
Yeah, anyway, a good presentation. From that standpoint, just a couple of notes. I know it's county business and your city business here, but anyway, they work with the counties, of course, to bring water to the remote areas. And they have areas that, of course, where there's small populations that are long ways apart, such as we have in Coochian County as well. A couple of things that they brought to the meeting was that how they set it up is that they make the plan. Of course, it goes through all the legal processes and all that sort of stuff, and it varies. He says depending where you're at, between $1,000 and $10,000 per either residence or business, and you don't have to sign up for the water. You do not. It's that was, he says, that is the big thing. And he said, surprising, there's a lot of farms that are out in the middle of, so to speak, nowhere that are on city water because you can get it out there and it's reasonable. It's the lowest is 1,000 and the most expensive has been 10,000, which is, in my opinion, is a reasonable fee to have city water out in the middle of basically nowhere. And we talked about just a couple things.
Talking to the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sure. Okay, I usually got a big mouth here, so sure. Anyway, they talked about the way to pay for it. The only way that the client pays is if you want the water. You have an option to assess it. He says they've looked at that, but all that is less popular, so they haven't had any luck per se with communities that want to assess everybody, for water, and because some people want it and some people don't. So we said when the time comes, if you don't want the water, you don't sign up for it. When you do sign, if you decide later, a week or 2 or 5, 10 years later, of course you pay for the same rate as what everybody else did for that similar distance, a similar line. Which they said that is how that system works. So just a brief. That's what was talked about at the meeting. And also talked with, of course, obviously with the board on possibilities that as far as the County Road 117, which is the Birch Point Road, that is due for resurfacing and blacktopping in 2029. That's their program at the time, and it was discussed briefly with Mr. Nicholson regarding putting water in or at the same time as the road is rebuilt. And the county, of course, but is not interested in that because we don't know what the structure is underneath there. To the east of Hogan's property, they've actually trenched that in a year or two ago, and there's no rocks. They missed it all. Now, granted, Birch Point is solid rock. I guarantee you that. But how far down it is on, as an example, the west side of the County Road 117, I don't know. And maybe it has to be coming from the far west side of the Hogan property, come down the beach. It takes more looking into it. Just to give you a heads up of what I've been talking with those folks about. And when I talked with the county engineer today, he said, I asked who does the engineering for this, and he said, what you should do is contact such like SCH Engineering or Woodset Smith and Knowlton. He said they're reputable engineering firms, just to say, we'd like to put water in here, and what are the options, which mean they'd have to, of course, soil testing, that sort of thing, and whether you want to have a 2-inch water line just for drinking water, so to speak, or if you want to have a main line with the hydrants and that sort of thing. Yeah. And my limited knowledge, and it's understandable if you're boring a 2-inch hole through granite is much less expensive than a 6-inch. I'm sure you're talking large sums of money there, but that's just what we're going to be exploring. We'd like to do that, and just keep you up posted what we'd like to do there at County Road 117. Let's see what else we have. But the suggested, it was suggested, Mr. Nicholson also suggested we chat with you folks also. And there's enough water? I mean, it sounds crazy. Is the so-called main, I don't know how big the main is that's on the county, is that large enough to support a 2-inch or whatever? I didn't know what size the main is. Do we know? I don't know.
What was the question?
What is the main, what size is the main water supply?
It's a 6-inch main.
A 6-inch main, that's where it's at, okay. And I limited knowledge on water flow and such. There'd be enough to take care of basically 10 residents at Birch Point if you put in but even if you put in a 2-inch, like a 2-inch, would that?
You could put a 4-inch real easy. Granted, when you directionally drill, digging a hole is the expensive part. The pipe is only $1 difference.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You buy a 2-inch, you buy a 3-inch, you buy a 4-inch.
Sure.
A couple bucks more, you got a bigger line.
Sure.
And when they directionally drill, they always do a 4-inch hole, so you can get a 3-inch pipe through there, which is when you do the volume from a 2-inch, you get a lot of water.
Okay, and you folks obviously are comfortable with the water supply.
Well, the engineers will know that, but all the directional drillers bore 4-inch
Okay.
holes.
Okay, thanks for that. When I was thinking about water supply and such, when I was in Baudette years ago on the city
If you
council.
open cut it, then it's,
I'm sorry?
if you open cut it with a backhoe,
Yes.
then you may as well put in a 6-inch line.
Yes,
You got full
that was-
protection.
Good point. One of the embarrassing things we did, I was on the city council in Baudette about 45 years ago, and some money came available, and they wanted to dig a 2-inch water line out to the airport. And the money was available. So we had a contractor, hey, this is a great deal, the pipe was free, etc. The money was there. A local contractor, just a backhoe, dug it all in there. And then we put in a 2-inch pipe. And looking, hindsight, of course, obviously it should have gone to full size. Well, then, just for a history background, when Bosch came out there years later, they said, we want lots of water for making ice for the cars and all that sort of stuff. And they actually paid for the 6-inch to come out there, and that's also where they came for the water tower there. But you're obviously light years ahead of me on contract. It was just an embarrassing thing we as a council did, because somebody should have figured out, hey, you're digging the hole, put the pipe in or something. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
not much cost difference.
okay. Water supply, of course, contact electrical people. We can see that, obviously, the electric is there, and also familiar with the gas location, how that is. And contact an engineering plan, and look for samples of how deep it is. A couple of contacts that Mr. Nicholson suggested was, I believe there's a drilling, or we're going to call it, called Gilbranson, is that correct? Gilbranson, and is also,
Yeah.
Gilbranson, how do you say it? I'm going to say they're on Virginia, or someplace on the range maybe. And,
Yeah, they're from Evelyn.
oh, okay, Evelyn,
And they
okay.
do all this line boring. They really don't do water boring. They don't bore water lines.
When, I'm sure.
They do gas and fiber.
Really? I did not, I assumed incorrectly
I got a
again.
friend that owns them, I know well.
Okay, and another one was.
But there's lots of boring guys that do this.
That's okay. And then another suggestion was a company, I believe it's called EDI, is that correct, out of Duluth? Is that correct?
Earth Burners.
I'm sorry?
Earth Burners Incorporated, they're the best in the country.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. So, anyway, that's just to give you a heads up of what we're looking at. That's what we're working for. We don't want to do anything that'll stir up any good feelings or I should say bad feelings, excuse me, by going ahead or something, we'll obviously keep you informed of what our plan is, but we're going to continue researching that to get the public water there. So that's all. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, hold on real quick. Did everyone get a chance to look through the permitting that was issued to the city? Did you get a chance to look through the DNR issuance of the permit to the CN for the bridge project?
I did not.
Okay, well, I was just curious, I mean, it's just a rehashing of what they told us they were doing. I am gonna contact Darren Overson, which I think he's like the area director, he's Ryan Reed's boss, I think. over
Yes,
at the
that,
DNR.
you're right on that.
And I have some questions regarding some of the things that are contained in this permit. And I just want everyone to know that I will be reaching out to them to ask some questions. One of the things that they have in this permit is that all construction dewatering in excess of 10,000 gallons per day. Does anyone know, like, do you
What
have?
does that mean?
Well, it's like, if they're pumping water out of wherever they're working,
Yeah.
who keeps track of total gallons
Yeah,
during dewatering?
Yeah,
Because I read that, I'm like, what does that mean?
They won't be doing that. The 10,000 gallons, they set up a pump,
Right,
and that will, because if they have any pilings, like they put around the piling,
yeah,
and what gets inside the sheet piling, they would pump that back out.
right.
And that, and
If they do more than 10,000 gallons though, they have to get a separate water appropriation permit. So I was just curious if we know who maintains or watches that, or if we have any idea if they're gonna be pumping a bunch of water.
I gotta tell you, nobody ever watches that, because they just pump down the Little Fork pit, KGM did, and they know it's being pumped down, but they never check.
So one of my questions to Ryan and Darren is going to be, who will be following up on that on the site itself?
And what they'll do, they'll say, okay, we got a 2-inch pump that pumps, 100 gallons an hour.
Right.
Or a minute or so. And they'll say, you can run it for 10 hours a day or something like that. That's how they monitor that,
Okay.
because what they'll be using that for is, once they get that in, they'll have a sump, like a sump pump in your
Yep.
bed. A little water comes in and pump out. So they shouldn't be actually taking any water out of it. They'll be just dumping it back.
That's really wasn't sure what their process or like how they do it. I just know that it was included as something that to watch out for in the permit. The other thing was, have you heard at all about when they remove this bridge? Because this is good till 2030. This permit is. Have you heard if they're going to be operating trains during the entirety of construction?
Sounds
Do
like
we know?
they're going to, from what I understand, they were going to run the train full bore up to about, it's going to take about 3 days to put the bridge in. They're going to build the piers, and then they're just going to take 2 barges and slide the new cantilever bridge in place, hook it up on the 2 sides and walk away. So, yeah, there's not going to be much
So,
delay, I wouldn't
If things
expect
go
more
to
than about
plan,
3 days.
if things go to plan, it's not supposed to take more than 2 days.
No, I don't think, yeah, the train traffic, I don't think will be stopped for 3 days at the most. That's my best guess on that, and that's probably what they just don't stop trains. They got that instant way of doing it, so.
And then I wanted to bring, not necessarily connected to the bridge, but I wanted to bring up something for us to be thinking about in the back of our head, because this has been weighing on me living here, is as a city looking for a way to budget money out for next year or the year after that, whatever is financially possible, to hire out some consultant to come and look at our railway crossing, an outside party. I fully believe that the noise and the squealing that comes from specifically right at the crossing never used to be that bad. Something changed either with the way they made the wheels, the way they adjusted when they created that crossing. I would love to have someone come in and look at it and tell us, not from the CN's mouth, but from someone who works on railway, to tell us, if there's something that can mitigate that they can do, or that we can ask them to do, or whatever we gotta do about it, because it's so bad. It's so bad.
We may ask the EPA to come and monitor the noise
Okay.
at that crossing.
I feel like you could even make like probably not a very deep case, but a shallower case for like public health issues and noise.
Well, that's
pollution.
what the EPA does, because they're in noise pollution too. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And they can monitor that, and they can't, I had discussions with a railroad engineer. I think I mentioned this probably about 6 months ago, about greasers.
Mhm.
Greasers are what they, in the thing to keep the wheels from squealing on that. And there's something about electronics, because we do have that electronic activator that activates the lights and everything else. So greasers got to be so far from a component of electricity, because it'll cut off the probably the conductivity of the light. But I wouldn't doubt that there's something to do. I wish I could remember his name, because he was real sharp. He was actually, where I met him was in Cantilever. He was a railroad engineer, and that's what he was telling me about that. So, when you think, well, they could just put that in, well, there's a reason why they may not be able to put that in, but there's probably a reason they can put it in too. It just they might have to put a conductivity wire alongside the track then for that light to be activated.
There's something that affects the rail cars, whether they're empty or they're carrying specific cargo based on the reverberation. Because when I'm standing there, you get some that are quiet and some that are so deafening. And I grew up right on Queensland Lane. I'm no stranger to noise. This is terrible. People have come up to me, they can't be in their yards talking to each other anymore. It's so loud.
Sometimes you can hear
Let me talk to
that.
Craig McKenzie. He ran 2 railroads, so he certainly knows some railroad consulting engineers that might give us a name of a company. But also, I think we might just want to make a contact with the EPA, because certainly, or the MPC, I don't know.
Or even our
the MPCA.
legislators.
MPCA might refer you to somebody, but there is, noise pollution is part of just like light pollution.
I want an outside professional opinion that's not connected.
Well,
with
I'll have Craig get a name of an engineering firm, and then, and Cheryl, maybe you can make a phone call just to the MPCA, the EPA, and say, we are putting this bridge in, but we have, 40 trains a day going through here, and they're putting a second rail in, so, let's not kid ourselves, there's going to be 50 trains a day coming through here shortly. I mean, within a few years. And the noise is excessive. We
Air
are excessive.
pollution.
How can we monitor that? And what can we do about it?
Like if there's a decibel study that we can commission, I'm just looking for ways to come up with certifiable evidence. There's things that need to be dealt with.
That'd be a gen. First, they may give us what we can do, what we can't do, but we will get a railroad engineer. Because, again, a phone call to the right person, if you get the MPCA, say, yeah, we had the same trouble in Moorhead. They have trains to go through Fargo, Moorhead, and, Grand Forks, right downtown Grand Forks. So it isn't our only problem. So maybe somebody else has done it and has recognized what it is and in some way adapted it.
Well, I know a week ago, I was sitting outside on the deck, and there were several engines idling over here on the other side of the overpass. And the smell of diesel fuel was choking the daylights out of it.
They're supposed to idle much farther
Well,
down. I think
they're right there, right by
Gretchen says the same
right
thing.
behind Ranier Roost, they're sitting right there, there's 3 of them, all running.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have multiple, air, noise. When they went through our parade, couldn't wait 10 minutes and had to
Oh, I
come to
was
our
so
parade.
mad.
That's the first time that's
So
happened.
I wish I would have been in the middle of the parade then. There's no way I would have vacated that. There's no way if they would have dropped that thing, would I vacated that track.
I was so mad at you. I thought
We
it
haven't
was
vacated that
intentional.
road yet, have we? That what they wanted?
No.
No, that's all.
No, we have,
Yeah.
What's that?
It'd be a kid today. Everyone-
No, I wouldn't have got off the track when that train was coming. I would have stayed there with that car and I said, you're just go ahead and run over there. There's just no way I would have moved.
We were already done.
Well, yeah, me and Todd were packed. We didn't even know where
Well,
the
I-
bridge.
yeah.
So, again, that's, you know, part of that restriction is say, oh, you know, they're not going to restrict boat traffic. Shit, they didn't wait 10 minutes to cut off our parade. You don't think they're going to, they don't care about that boat coming through. They don't care about the car. Every 10 minutes, if they can get a train through there, time is money to them.
Yeah,
If
billions.
they get one more train a day through because they don't wait 10 minutes, that's all dollars in their pockets. So, you know, we're low on their totem when it comes to consideration. So don't kid yourself. You can talk as nice as you want to, but at the end of the day, air pollution, noise pollution, you know, interruption, traffic interruption. Again, I'll get a name of somebody.
I mean,
Craig will know of somebody.
I just, you know, I don't know.
He'll know somebody, for sure. So, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?